Good morning. Looking forward to wrapping this up. Let's see what we got. We got Nick. Good morning, Chris. Hello, hello. RQR, welcome. How's it going? No complaints. I am simply trying to wrap up the texturing on this Ma K today. Listening, working on welds. We'll be working on welds tomorrow. Today is just going to be sanding down the rest of the stuff. What I've done is I've looked very carefully at the at the texturing, like going up close and just seeing, okay, does this look like it's in scale? It doesn't have to be perfectly in scale, but it's got to be at least a little closer. It's going well here. Thanks. Nice. Long time ago since I was here. Yeah. RQR. Remind me. I know you've been here before. I can't recall your first name. If you'd like to give it, great. And if not, no worries. I apologize. But we're really close to getting this thing done. Like I said, I've got to just do some line cleanup. But we're really close. At this point, it's just getting the texturing down to a more legitimate level. There we go. Because when you're looking at it from here, we'll talk about this in a second. When you're looking at it from here, it looks good, but I want to be able to just see, okay, so if I were up close, how would this actually look? And I think it would look a little aggressive still, not in scale. I think it's important to get close, not to, you're not going to be able to nail it, but come very close. Hey, Joe, good morning. Close enough for government work. I'm not sure I really like that term because we got a lot of great government employees. Just saying. All right. Best, that's interesting. Oh, yeah. That's Joe. That's a typical greeting from Joe. Anyway, hope everybody had a good Friday. Has had a nice start to the weekend. My wife got home last night, which is great. Hung out with her for a little while. Got my newsletter from the president written yesterday, which means I don't have to work on it this weekend. That's great. Threw a few shots in, given all the BS that happened at PatCon. I figured it was time for me to just kind of say a couple of nasty things. George, is that one of those Ma K cables that come rubberized? No. In fact, the rubberized cables are in there. That is a spring and wire setup that I did because I think it looks better. The rubber part actually looks good. It's just that on two sides you got these seams, and trying to remove them, kind of like, what's a good example? Like if you see, because I got all that dust there, you can see the seam right there. Removing seams on rubber parts is not fun. It sucks, in fact. Yeah, I just made it even worse now by rubbing my nail on it. What I may end up doing on that is actually applying a very thick layer of paint on it. They are going to be painted. They're going to be painted with a, I've even got them sitting right here. These, I'm going to give it a try. These Angulus thinners or paints. That was the thinner. These are leather paints. We're going to give these a try and see how they look when the time comes. I am working on the machining Krieger real quickly. It's the Raccoon. And what I've done is I've done a lot of additions to it. You know, why don't we do a little recap? I know some people haven't been on here for a while. How cold is it in Mass? It was in the mid 30s this morning, which is why you hear my furnace. Finally decided, time to turn on the heat. Where do you get the spring and wire to replace the parts? Cool. Wait, what was the paint? Sorry, Nick, you missed it. If you're not paying attention, that's on you. I'm such a dick sometimes. I'm sorry. Yeah, right here, Nick. I went to an art supply place. I think these I got from my daughter and I were near a Dick Blick. Was it Dick Blick? Yes, I think they were at a Dick Blick. And just picked these up. And they have a whole host of, Nick, you might even be familiar with these. Yeah, it's a leather paint. They have a whole host of these things. I believe Ray was the one who recommended trying a leather paint on rubber material, polycap material, and see what happens. So we're going to give it a try. No harm, no foul, right? Are those paints expensive? A couple bucks each, $3. I mean, it's no more or no less expensive than, I guess, a bunch of the other thing. The other thing with Dick Blick and places like that is they typically will have some kind of a coupon, so apply that. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. So how cold is it? 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Where to get the spring and wire? And the spring and wire, Chris, are a wave set. Let's see if I have access to it. I may not be able to get to them right now. Yeah. My laptop is sitting on the shelf that actually is supporting them, but they're wave, like the same manufacturer of this model. They make spring sets, and you can run just a copper wire through it. I did post on a couple days ago. I posted on YouTube. I'm using YouTube also for posting certain updates on the model. You can see the what I did. You can actually look at the details there. All right, fine. Yeah, you were making coffee. Totally legit. Totally legit. And where did I get them from? I ordered that stuff from, it was either Hobby Link Japan, um, uh, or Hobby Search. One of the two. Probably Hobby Search. I haven't done anything with Hobby Link Japan in a while. I haven't done anything with Hobby Search in a while either. Are those paints expensive? I don't believe so. Yeah, it stays flexible. Yeah. Nick, have you tried that stuff before? Something tells me you may have. I know Ray was the one who recommended trying something like that a while ago. And I figured this is going to be the first time I'm going to give it a shot. I actually had this model in mind, or a Maschinen Krieger model in mind with hoses for stuff like that. Nah, I'm sorry, for polycaps. I use it on leather couch. Really? And how good does it work? I mean, how long does that stuff last? All right, see if I can get in here and get this area here. It's a little tougher. And then I'll put my glasses on and go in tight. And then we're going to talk a little bit about George's take on how close is too close. All right. Wait for a few more people to pop in, then I'll do a little show and tell. A couple of recent purchases that came in. All right, let's do some line cleanup. That's going to have to get removed in another fashion. Oh, let me just do this line too. Run this side. Check what's going on here. So you get plenty in the jar. Yeah, it says flexible. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it seems to be how much? I mean, yeah, you got almost 30 mil out of it. It's a lot. No question. I've seen the replacing the rubber cables, but could remember where. Maybe on Lincoln Right. It could be Lincoln Right. There's a bunch of people who've done it. I'm not unique in doing this. I've seen it plenty of times specifically for this thing. The other thing that I did was, because they didn't include it, so like this spring here between the whatever the main weapon here and the hull, or the Energizer, whatever the hell it's called. Anyway, that whole spring, that wasn't even there. So they didn't even include a rubber part for that. They didn't include an antenna. They included the base, but not the actual whip. And then all the wiring between the legs and the arms wasn't included. I guess the best way to put it is, this is a terrific model if you want a challenge. Like if you want to do something with it out of the box, it's shit. It lasts a good while where it gets a lot of use, like years. Wow. Wow. I got my side yard done with new sod free yesterday. How did you do that? Dude, that's awesome. I mean, somebody just delivered a bunch of sod for free? Damn. They want to deliver some up here? Let's turn the part over. And now what I'm doing is just rescribing in stuff that got covered by the Bondo. It's very easy to rescribe. Just got to be careful because this stuff here, it's not like plastic. It's a lot less resistance than plastic. But it can still ramp. I'm going to just do an additional detail in there, then I'll come back to that. Let's get some more coffee tossed in. Have I built a Nitto kit? No. But I enjoyed very much John Bias building one last year, I think it was. The neighborhood neglected their yards so bad it was killing ours. Have you bought any of Lincoln Wright's books? Yes. I have one of his books. I won't buy any more from him. Look, no offense to Lincoln. I think he's a fabulous builder. I don't need much more than just the one, the first one that he published. Anything more, it's like, oh, you get to see more of my work. Yeah, okay, fabulous. I know he's paywalled himself and everything like that. I know his old videos are all set. Look, congratulations. I'm really happy for you. I don't need that. But his books are beautiful. His artwork is stellar, fabulous. But as I think we all know, there's a lot of fabulous modelers and builders out there, and and we share ideas, and I think that's great. Okay, the neighborhood neglected. I'm assuming you mean the neighbor neglected their yard. We'll talk about the Nitto thing in just a second. They finally got their yard fixed and contractor over, but asked if I wanted mine done too. They laid it out and everything. Wow. Hey, Peter, good morning. Still morning your time? I'm assuming it is. How much is George further delaying the... I gotta say, for a guy who's only been on for a little while, Peter has just nailed this live stream and me. Yeah, I'm drinking a little coffee and just kind of catching up a little bit today. We're going to get all the sanding work done today, Peter. Neighbors, yeah. I keep wondering, but never said anything. What's that hand on the background beside the ball? I can't talk about that. His books are way overpriced. They're over. I mean, I understand because he's printing them locally in Australia and having them shipped. I respect some of that. I don't need a coffee table book, I guess is what I'm looking for. So yesterday, if you guys remember, I mentioned, and I did actually post on it on Ray's the Aces of Iron link on how to do texturing. I very much appreciated that level of work, that detail work and description of how they do things. Now, that's a savvy company because what they're doing is, hey, if you like what we're doing here, buy some of our figures. I respect that. Again, all respect for Lincoln Wright, but it's like buying your books, and then if I want to kind of get to know more about you, I got to go through a paywall. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, there are people like there are a few people that I'm a Patreon for, very few at this point. And the reason is because it's like I want to either support them as a growing hobbyist or a growing concern, um, or they're offering something. Like a good example is I still pay for Child of Mecca's. I kick $1 a month to him, and the reason is for years he provided a fabulous resource on Wednesday nights to train people, to show people what he does. A master builder to do the level of work, and he was just going through it. You know what? I think he's earned my $1 or $2 a month. At one point it was more, but now it's a $1 a month because he hasn't done anything in a few years. So that's the reason why I contribute. But I bought the book. I'm all set. How about we leave it like that? Let's see. Peter asked that question in another month or two. Yeah, I gotta tell you, Peter's just got it nailed. Roger that, Nick. Coffee Table Book is right. Really thought it would have more to it, but not what it was. Yeah, that's why it's like, thank you again. I appreciate it. I moved on. But again, high recommendation. Anybody who's interested in doing figure painting, that link that I posted a couple days ago on my YouTube channel for Aces of Iron, or just look up Aces of Iron, and there's a spot on there for an understanding of how to paint texturing, how to paint faces, eyebrows. You get the skin tones, how to paint cloth, how to paint. Actually, the canvas thing they didn't do yet. How to paint goggles. It was spot on. How to paint leather. I feel the same way about Lincoln. Right, I have the sci-fi fan from Lincoln and Luna Combat, but I just can't do anymore. Used to do the Patreon thing, but I stopped all that subscription stuff. Yeah, I'm only subscribed, I think, right now to two. I subscribe to the Gundam podcast because I think that they're doing excellent work. And at some point, when things get a little bit less constrained financially for us, or I will up my my contribution to them because I think they're doing excellent research. And I very much have enjoyed their. God, they've been doing this for a bunch of years. They're about to start G Gundam. So they're going through every Gundam series. And right now they've done all the original UC stuff. And they're about to start G Gundam. I've never seen G Gundam. Don't know much about it. But I'm just fascinated. I will watch everything with them. So I think they offer a value that I think is pretty impressive. And then what else? And then Child of Mecca. I used to do, Martin Kovach, but I gave up on that because it's like, look, he's also making a ton of money, and $1 for me isn't going to necessarily make or break. I mean, he's obviously getting paid from YouTube, which I watch all of his YouTube videos. So I think we're in a good place. And frankly, I don't need to reach out to him. And this is not a hubris thing. It's just like, I just don't see the value. It's like, hey, Martin, I don't need to have a conversation with you. No offense. I'm sure you're a terrific guy. I'd love to meet you in person, but I'm not going to pay to have a conversation with you. Ray sent me the link. It's a huge amount of how to with pictures, so you know what it should be looking. Yeah, exactly. Nick, wasn't it fabulous? I'm like, I printed it up at work. I'm like, holy fuck, this is great. I'm like, and the way they described everything, it's like I totally resonated with that. That made sense. G Gundam is a super robot show. Dive deep into Gigantor. I think that's, I guess, show. Sure. From what I've seen, it certainly seems that way. Who's bigger than big, stronger than strong? Exactly. All right, for Peter, let me get at least this side done. And I'll show you what I'm doing right now. All I'm doing is just doing cleanup of where some of the putty got into. I'm guessing these are latches. Just clean them out. And then I got to figure out how to wash these things. Some one of the best how-to write-ups I've seen. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more, Nick. Oops, forgot the other side. Vaseline. But then, okay, so then you got to use harsh chemicals to clean the Vaseline, right? And you can't even use the word Vaseline because now I've got a song running in my head. Got two songs that use Vaseline and I'm running in my head. Getting back into scale modeling after 30 plus years away, I really appreciate YouTube as the amazing knowledge sharing source it is for niche hobbies. 100%. No, soap and water. That's all it takes. But Vaseline is petroleum based. Gets all that stuff off. Interesting. I guess you could break down the oil. Yeah, 100%, Peter. I couldn't agree more. There are so many resources out there. And additionally, and I'm gonna say this, there's also clubs. You know, there's so much. Build groups, whatever. That's why it's like, and look, I understand. If you're a true artist, and I'm going to use the example of I'm going to use two examples. I probably should use Lincoln Wright too, because I do think he is a true artist. But I look at guys like Martin Kovach, right? I mean, sure, you want to have a Patreon. I get it. You want to have a, Tim Harkins, Child of Mecca. You guys want to, I understand. You guys are at a world-class level and you probably want to, hey, there's nothing wrong with getting a few bucks for what you do. Or in Martin's case, I guess, it's become his career now. The unfortunate thing is that I think there's a lot of people who create their Patreons or do, and it's like, you're not really offering, what's your value add? You know, hate to be, critical in that term, but what's your value add? Oh, you can pay to watch my stuff. It's like, why do I want to do that when I can, what you're offering, what I've seen so far, I can find for free. That's not to say that what you're doing isn't good. I'm just saying, what are you doing that makes what you're doing valuable enough that I want to pay for it? If that makes sense. I used to be Martin's patron too, but I can wait for his videos to drop, and you are correct. He has plenty of subscribers, and I think he's sponsored by AK and BMS. And actually, I think he probably gets his 3D printers now. He's got his own merch. I mean, look, Martin's earned it. His level of workmanship, I don't think anybody here who's watched Martin would say, he's just not worth what, oh no, the guy is world class. I mean, he is absolutely off the chain, fabulous. And it's great that he does his Patreon thing for people who want to. And I appreciate at the end of every show, he always says, hey, if you want to subscribe, no pressure. I like that approach. I think that's a very gentlemanly way of doing business. And then a quick alcohol wipe. Yeah, my concern with doing alcohol wipe on this stuff is, and I haven't tested it, will this putty break down? Remember, alcohol can break down any lacquer-based stuff. That's why I use now alcohol to strip paint. This little jar that you see me using that I always clean my brushes with, it's alcohol. Not the large jar, but the small jar that I usually do my hand painting it's alcohol-based. Yeah, then a quick, I instantly thought of No Vaseline by Ice Cube. I guess I was kind of off on that one. Yeah, that one's a little different. I was actually thinking something from Nirvana and what's the other band? There's another band that did a song called Vaseline, and I'm forgetting what it's called. Anyway, you're so right. It's mind-boggling the number of modelers out there showing how they do what they do. Yeah. In fact, that's why you can learn stuff. There's a guy who's back on. I'll just do a little shout out. One of the first people I followed when I got back into the hobby was a guy by the name of Jesse, Bound by Gundams. He's back doing stuff. I would absolutely recommend watching, like, you have to go back a number of years. but go watch his original airbrushing tutorials. I use those, and they added that comfort level to me on how to begin airbrushing. It was wonderful. I like Jesse. He's back on doing Gundam reviews. He's doing box builds, and he's painting. And his methodology, I think it's funny how much I've kind of caught up to a lot of what he's doing now. Don't get me wrong. I think he's still a remarkably gifted and talented builder. But that to me is, I'm so happy to see that he's back in. Give the guy go check out some of his videos. Bound by Gundams. Jesse, terrific guy. Ohio based, I think. It shouldn't. Cured Bondo shouldn't be affected. You know what? We can try it. See what happens. Flies in the Vaseline. Stone Temple Pilots. Yeah, there you go. There's another one right there. Thank you, Joe. Your videos a week early and then ad free, and then there's those who offer a Discord server, but Discord communities I like clicks people. Yeah, he's on YouTube. Bound by Gundams. Yeah, he's got a YouTube channel. Go check him out. See if it makes sense. Like, he's taken a long hiatus. He just got back into building Gundams. He took a long hiatus. He's a gamer. He's a guitarist. So you'll probably see a bunch of those videos. But if you go back, say, 7 years or so, the stuff that he did with airbrushing, it was foundational. And again, are there other people who do this stuff? Absolutely. But he was the first one I saw, and it's like, I like this guy's approach. So I will always talk positive about him. I think he's a terrific modeler. He's down to earth. He's not a pretentious guy. He's just it's a nice guy to watch. Discord is another thing. This is why and Chris, and I'm gonna leave it with this. I've been asked, why don't you monetize this? It's because I don't want to monetize this. I'm not offering anything of importance enough to create monetization. I'm hoping that, yes, people will pick up some things. You're going to watch me make mistakes, maybe learn from those, like this texturing thing. I've never used Bondo before, specifically on a model. I've tested with it, but never used it. We get to enjoy this journey together, I guess. But I'm not going to charge you for this because I don't think there's value in what I do. I think the value that I bring is, let's hang out. Let's have a good time. Let's make modeling fun. And if you want to talk about techniques, go check other people. You'll pick up some things here. Don't get me wrong. I'm not discounting the stuff that I do, but that's not my focus here. My focus here, of course, is always let's just hang out, have fun, and enjoy the time. I pay for YouTube Premium, so there's my ad-free videos covered. Nice. Yeah, there's so little on. I just dropped Paramount Plus. I hated their politics. I think their politics right now are shit. So I'm dropping Paramount Plus. Most of the streaming stuff right now, it's like I'm finding I just don't need more of it. In fact, I'm almost becoming like John Bias. I'm finding myself watching less and less TV, and doing a lot more other stuff. Just I don't want to watch as much TV. I'm not here to learn. I'm here for the conversation. Yeah. So hopefully you pick up a couple things, Nick. Hopefully you get to watch me sand. That's so short, George, watching you being incredibly wrong about sports. Certain entertainment value. Fuck you, Peter. Oh my God, that's brilliant. Oh my God, that's brilliant. All right. We're done with that leg. Let's do this upper leg now. We're going to do these things once again. It's almost getting to the point where I'm actually almost polishing this stuff. There's like a shininess that's coming through now. And I have to work and get the circle details cleaned up. I'm here for both. I mean, really, what can George show me that I can't find somewhere else? Exactly. One of the things that's important is to realize, you know, what you genuinely do bring to the table, right? I remember when I got into mountain biking, I was thinking, "Oh my God, this is pretty easy." I mean, how hard can like being a professional cyclist be? And then you watch other people, I'm like, "Oh God, no! What the hell was I thinking?" Yeah, back when I had thoughts of maybe like getting into being competitive, and it's like, yeah, no. All right, that leg is good. Let's take a look at it up close. Yeah, that texturing looks pretty good. This one I burned through a bit, but there's just still enough texture there that it's looking good. I'm gonna hit this backside just a bit more. There we go. I'm good with that. Now I'm just gonna clean out that circle. In fact, I'm gonna use the 0 on this one. And in 10 minutes video versus 2 week. Right. Maybe an aging man claiming cycling pumped full of chemicals should be considered a sport. Oh God. Wow. Maybe. Oh man. Oh, the uninitiated. All right, let's just go in and let's clean out this stuff. That's so far pretty easy to do. I think I might have done this before. It just got jammed up with dust. We'll take a look in just a second here. There we go. Just see right there, right there. Sorry, that detail that's inside it, that circle detail, just needed to get that all cleaned out. Now I've got to do the same thing on this side. Denmark once claimed sweeping floors was a sport just because we in curling one. I know. Yeah, curling is an odd one. Cycling, my hope still remains that I have a chance to go to. I'd like to see a stage of the tour, possibly the Vuelta. As I get closer to retirement, I'm actually thinking about, okay, I want to do some traveling, and that traveling will likely include Spain. Always wanted to go to Spain. Actually, I take it back. My wife and I wanted to go to Spain. So hopefully, get there either during a stage of the Vuelta or if earlier in the summer, then go see the stage of the tour. maybe like a Pyrenean stage. So, can I get a take from you guys? We got what, 5 people on? I want to see if I can get some take from y'all, whether you're experienced at modeling or not. Let's see. Anything is elevated and experiencing it in media res. Yeah. Question for you guys. So there's a question about whether or not flashlights should be used at shows, competitions. I am an ardent believer that, yeah, you should. And I've listened to something yesterday in which, I mean, don't get me wrong, the guys I was listening to are just a bunch of fuck knuckles, but that beside the point. But one of the comments that came up is that flashlights should never be used. And I've never been to a show, granted the majority of them have been IPMS, where a flashlight hasn't been used. Why would you not use a flashlight? I again, I don't think people who say you can't use a flashlight have actually worked at a show, because personally speaking, lighting is in crap in many of the places. Even some of the best places for lighting, you can't always see details. The flip to this is that they always come back with, well, if you got to get that close to see something, then you need to be able to just see with the naked eye. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you can't always, because the lighting is crap. But I'd love to get people's takes on this. The only cycling I watch anymore is the Elite Women's Cyclocross, and the season has started, so I'm happy. Nice. I love watching, like right now, watching Tadej Pogacar. There's nobody like him. And Chris, I'm going to be honest with you. This guy has the potential. Potential. He ain't there yet. He has the potential to replace Eddie Merckx as the greatest cyclist of all time. And I know that might sound like anathema to you, but oof. Let's see. So, one question from a lesson model to be considered: are you all competition builders? That's a good question. Now, how powerful of a flashlight? Yeah, Joe, pen lights. We're not talking about like 50,000 lumens of light, showering something. I've got a little portable flashlight that I now bring with me to shows to look inside of nub areas, just to see if with Gundam, it's just an important thing to do. And I've heard from people like you shouldn't use them. It provides, if you can't see it with the naked eye, then you shouldn't ding a person. I'm thinking to myself, why are you competing then? We'll get back to Peter's really excellent question in a second. Fine to use, but the brightness of the light can affect how it is viewed. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think you should, like I said, get like a blowtorch, and you should never do it for color accuracy. That's not my point. My point is, for me, is to get into crevices like Gundams, and all these things have really little tiny crevices just to see. And people who say you shouldn't use them because you see faults or flaws, I'm like, well, part of a show is to actually see which model is built flawlessly. You're right, George. Lighting is crap in some of the venues. Can you accurately see what's being? Yeah, but yes, a flashlight should be used. Yeah, and again, there's a lot of question about it. I as somebody who's going to be helping to guide our rules in the future, I have no problem with using flashlights within reason. So Peter asked a good question. Does anybody here compete? And the answer is yes. However, do I care for competitions? No. A majority of the shows I went to this year, I think 6 shows this year. In fact, the majority of the ones that I've gone to, I don't compete, or I'll put my model in as display only, not for competition. I just want to put my stuff out there so people can see what I've done. And as much as we sometimes, hey, give me shit, I deserve it, right? Let's also remember, I mean, and I'm going to pat myself a little bit on the back here. I haven't published, so it's not like I'm a shitty modeler. I'm just not a fast builder, and I'm now focusing more on storytelling than I am on, ultra fine detail. But I could vacillate. I could go back the other way if I really wanted to. There's no reason to pigeonhole yourself in anything in this hobby. So, I think the thing with competitions, Peter, and this is a long conversation, and it's been unfortunately in the forefront with my club because of a situation that came up during our show. That's why I use super black in those tiny places. Good point, Joe. Yeah, I can't see anything. It's like a vacuum in there. Yep. It's a huge deal with the bright light. Need to set a lumen max. Yeah, that's why you never judge. I don't think you should ever use a flashlight to judge color accuracy. First of all, what's color accurate? That color, that olive green, is actually RLM3 when it needs to be RLM5. Who the fuck cares? Honestly, nobody cares. In our competition, we never allow for that. I used to go to a show that was held at Georgia. It was held in a museum there. The lighting sucked, and I think it was because they wanted to protect the museum items on display. That makes a lot of sense. Light can do damage to stuff like that. I've only finished like 2 kits. Really, Nick? I got to tell you, the time comes when you have fewer obligations. Man, stand out of your way. Nick, by the way, for guys who don't know, I mean, Nick's finish work is pretty fucking great. So, I've said this so many times, I'm getting sick of saying it. I participate in competitions. My club runs a competition show. I've gone to a bunch of shows, all of them which have competitions, and I participate and I do judging. I hate competitions because I think what they end up doing is, and PatCon, the recent controversy of PatCon continues to just show that I think most people are incapable of handling competitions. They're sore losers. And I'm not talking about people who don't win at the competition. I think if they don't like the rules, if they don't like the judges, if they're judges and they don't like the model, it's like it breeds a hostility that I'm getting tired of. The benefit of a show, in my opinion, is to be able to display your models and have it maybe critiqued, have somebody look at it and just say, hey, this is where things went well, this is where things, and have that engagement and to show off your work. And unfortunately, so much fucking energy is spent on the competition side of things. So much energy. And I don't care what the show is. It can be GBWC. It can be a local IPMS show. It could be a national IPMS show. It can be a show over in Europe. There was a big stink last year before with Mike Rinaldi, kind of looking at the stuff on the tables and just saying, this stuff isn't really worthy, and that created a flame war. So with all of that stuff kind of going on, it's like, why do we focus so much energy on competing? When literally what we're trying to do is just have fun and be creative. We have babies in the community, as we know. Richie, I couldn't agree with you more. Again, this is why, and Richie knows these guys, the Brooklyn IPMS guys, why I love them so much. One of the reasons is they're a very successful IPMS club. No show. 0. Successful. You don't need to have a show. Now, do I think we should have PatCon, which is our show? Yes. I want to make the competition part less and less important. Reduce it and reduce it and reduce it to the point where it becomes, oh, and you guys do a competition too. Oh, okay, cool. It's fools like either you are building for results only for competition or building because you enjoy the act of building more than the result, the hobby builder. Yes. To me, both aspects are important to the hobby and why your streams are so pleasant. It is enjoying the build process. This is about fun. I actually would add one additional item to that, and I think you kind of touched on it, and that's the community aspect of it. I much prefer the community. I like hanging out with modelers. I love looking at the stuff that they bring, talking about the stuff that they bring, et cetera, et cetera. I like having people look at my stuff, and I like being critiqued. I like being told, hey, this is a place where you can do better. I was kind of critiqued at the Hudson Valley show recently. I wish I had an engagement like, hey, your weathering was uneven. Okay, why? What did I do wrong? What do you think I could have done better? I'd love to have that engagement. Hear the term home cooking. Fools equals fields. Yep. Feels like either you're. Yes, I agree. No more first place, best in show, best paying first. Yeah, best ass kisser. Yeah, Richie. By the way, yes. Good morning, Richie. How you doing, brother? Good to have you on. That's why I have display tables at our events. Yeah, and next year I'm hoping to do more of that. I want to continue to move away from competition. So we did display only tables this year, the last 2 years. And next year I want to have club tables. So if somebody wants to buy a table, a club, one of our fellow IPMS groups, a Gundam group, some other group, an AMPS group wants to come in and buy a table, have at it, however much money. Have your members put as many models on that table. You need another one, pay for that table. I don't care. And that's what I want to transition to. So people can walk up and see the models and talk about the models and have people share ideas rather than, well, over here, yeah, you see, there's like, and trust me, I do this. Yeah, if you see over here, you can see that there's a seam line over there. That's great. We're having a conversation among the judges. Did that get over to the contestant? Maybe not. And that, I think, is unfortunate. Whereas Mike Renault, he has done a video in a while. He has not done a video in a while. And after almost 4 years, he still owes me 2 books. Promised him in the fall. We'll see. Mike's been making a lot of promises and under fulfilling, and I think it's a disgrace personally for somebody of that caliber to be in that position. And at least look, dude, all I'm asking for is just be truthful. If it's like, look, I don't know if I'm ever going to get to these things, that's fine. But when you over promise and under deliver, that old sales spiel, it's bad business. It really is. But what about getting a semi-official gum wrapper to where you are better than everyone else? I don't know what a semi-official gum wrapper is, but are you talking about as a judge? I think there are definitely people who build stuff and you look at their work and you're like, man, that's flawless. One of our modelers at our club, Richard Price, he's a world-class builder. He really is. He's competed internationally, and his level of detail is impressive. And that's no matter the genre. He built ship models. He's won it with best of with ships. He's won best of with Gundam. He's won best of with planes, with armor, because he is that guy. This is his thing. And he gets every now and then he gets villainized for that because the same guy always seems to win. Then why don't you do this instead of complaining about the same guy winning because he's better than you? Work to improve. I look at Richard's model, I look at mine, and I'm like, there's no question that his is better finished than mine. Hit up sponsorship for other club shows. Yes, absolutely. And I'm not bragging about it. I inherited it, and we've only gotten better with it. I can't shed dollars fast enough from our war chest. PatCon pulls in a lot of money for us. So yeah, if you guys need club sponsorships, an IPMS club down your way, tell your president to hit me up. Sure, I'll help out. I'll sponsor a category. Sure, make signs on his dry routes. Where's the book? You know anybody who lives out in Oregon? Oh yeah, maybe knock on his door. Hi, Mike. I have my book. George is looking for his books. Do you mind sending them? Hey, Seb. Good day to you, my friend. How are you? Whatever first place indicator you choose. How's everyone? Seb, it's a Saturday, and I'm having a great time just chatting with people. We're having good conversations. I will do a brief show and tell in just a second here, guys. I did promise I'd do that. You try to get your money back from Rinaldi. I paid through PayPal, so it's too late. Doing fine, and you? Doing fine. I've actually, the next time I reach out to him, I'm going to ask him. It's like, Mike, look, I'm not trying to bust balls or anything like that. Honestly, I'd rather have the books. I didn't pay. They were well priced. It's not like I spent $100,000. But Mike, just if you're not sure you can fulfill this like within a reasonable amount of time, yeah, send me back the money. I mean, if nothing else, it'll be the honorable thing to do. We'll see. Started acting like the mob. Where's his book exactly? Want me to find this guy? I'll get your money plus interest and books in full. Nah. Look, I know that he's had. Look, I know that things were tough for him for a while because his publisher screwed him. The printer, I should say, not the publisher. The printer screwed him, and he transitioned to a new one. And I'm all good. All I'm saying is you're still on the hook. You took money. You're on the hook. So that's all I'm asking for. And just like I said, be truthful. Let me know the truth, and I'm all good. If you're going to tell me you're not going to see these books until 2027, but I promise you okay, great. I'm not in a rush. It's not like I need these things. All I ask for is just be truthful. Be honest. His problem, not yours. Yup. Mike's Gundam book. As a matter of fact, I got them from John Bias, and I see why he gave it to me. It's dry, and I may refer to it every blue moon, but I'm glad I didn't show up for it. Yeah. I like Mike's books. I read his Sazabi book. I thought that was really, really good. I thought it was really, really good. Except for that shoelace that he used for the pipes on the neck. I just never liked nylon. That nylon stuff never looks real to me. It always takes the model out of scale for me. Always. But I like his stuff. I like the stuff that he's worked on with other people. I think it's great stuff. Anyway, so just getting back to like using flashlights and everything like that. Yeah. Real quickly, just gonna wrap up on it. I'm kind of done with some of these conversations. I just think it's like it's a competition. And to Peter's point earlier, yeah, competitions are great, but when they start getting in the way of the hobby, they need to stop. And I think that that's the problem with a lot of this stuff. And what you have is you've got people out there who just seem to want to do nothing more than to tear apart an organization because they didn't like the way things were judged or how things were handled or whatever. Do I think that there are flaws? Absolutely. Do I think there are ways of fixing things? 100%. But for fuck's sake, why is it that the competition and the competition always seems to get in the way of a good show? It just seems to be pretty consistent to me that that's what happens. Not a good show, a good time. Let me be more general about that. Gets in the way of a good time. Okay. There we go. Another. Ooh, take it back. Nope, I got a blob here I got to get rid of. In fact, I'm going to score this blob a little bit just to rough up the texture. And then I'll do a And after I'm done with this foot, I'll do a quick show and tell. There we go. That reduced it very nicely. Just poke some holes into the literally all you do if you get like a big blob, just kind of not it, this stuff is soft. Just kind of punch a couple holes in it. This stuff is very easy to work with. And then just sand it down and get your texture back. There we go. All right. That's done. I think it's done. Run my finger across that. Yeah, it's done. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see. Woo, missed a few things here. Let me go back a little bit. Love or hate Amazon. Put their print on demand service is good for creators. I would not disagree. Now, you might not get the level of quality that maybe there's a variety of different qualities. Do you want to publish something like a lot of these coffee table style books, or the quality of the print and the paper is really high? If they offer that, 100%, I agree with you, especially for small publishers. Yeah, Peter, very good point. Very good point. Here's got you into sign up for you. I guess his name is name. Nice. But doesn't he have those same books for sale on his website as in stock, and you can pick them up at other places? Yes. So it's the stuff that was, again, right now, if you see a book of his in a store, buy it. But if you're like ordering from his website, absolutely do not recommend. Just because he says it's there, I wouldn't trust it right now. Nylon phrase, right. Well, if the argument against flashlights is then you see the flaws, maybe the level of talent or effort is the issue, not the flashlights. Peter, I agree with you completely. But it's interesting how many people are like, why are you looking for flaws? It's like, because it's a show, and whether you like IPMS or not, IPMS is always construction first, construction and finish quality first. And I think that's a very objective way of judging a model. I like the IPMS rules from that perspective. Yeah, I agree. So I'm not looking to over scrutinize. I don't use magnifiers. I don't use like my phone to take a close up on something to see is it flawed or not. None of that. But with the naked eye and a light, can I go around and see it? I gently turn them all around. We're not getting into the touching thing today. I've had enough of that over the last 4 weeks, but yeah, I want to take a good look at the model to see what's going on with it. And if you don't like IPMS rules, don't go to an IPMS show. Go somewhere else. Or if you don't like a specific club's rules, again, there are options. Go elsewhere. All right, I'm gonna read these comments, and then we're gonna do the show and tell. I promise you that. I tried to judge a couple years back, but it became tedious because this judge didn't like this or that. It was taking forever to come up with the winners, and I eventually disappeared and went home. Yeah, and funny enough, Chris, one of the things that I've enjoyed very much about judging, I'm getting to the point where, look, you got 3 models that are all pretty damn close. Don't beat yourself up, and don't torture the contestant. It doesn't matter. That one has got this going and that not going, and this one's a flip on that. Which one do you want? Toss a coin. Or as people have suggested, maybe you do 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. I'm not opposed to that. Some in our club are, but I personally am not opposed to that. Yeah, it sucks, George. Take the fun out of meeting people and learning from each other. 100%. So Richie, next year again, and maybe this is something you and I can discuss. If you do come up to PathCon next year, and I'd love to have you. Obviously, we want to have you come to the reception. Let's talk about your guys doing a club table. I would love to have that. Love to have that. I mean, I'd always be tempted to split the cost on it with you. Yeah, that is thinking too logically. How can we complain if you use reason? Exactly. They need to go to the Gundam Builder World Finals and see what real scrutiny looks like then. Probably. Or SMC, or take your pick. Here's the thing. It just doesn't matter. There are people who just, I don't think they understand the realities of a show. And frankly, it's just, again, it becomes too unfun. We're gonna go to the Gundam Builder World Finals. Yeah. I don't want to even. Here's the thing: Gundam Builder World Finals. If you're talking about GBWC, maybe. I just don't care for GBWC because I think they got their own issues. But again, it's a competition. People bitch about that show all the time. Oh, look at how they're judging things. It's like, dude, it's their show. Just shut up. If you don't like it, don't go. Don't do. How did PayPal get you? Stop dealing with PayPal back when conspiracy theory came out. They're going to control what you bought with their service. Yeah, I'll talk to them. We are on a break now. Yeah, sounds good. All right, let's do a show and tell. So as we all know, I think something tells me that Bandai right now, Premium Bandai, is kind of hurt. They're trying to move stuff on because it seems like they've got a lot of stuff in stock now, which is kind of cool. So I did do a recent purchase on some stuff that it's been kind of like, yeah, if when that becomes available, I'll probably pick it up. So let's talk about some of those things. The first is, and it's interesting, and I think Bandai is doing some very interesting things in that they're releasing as Premium Bandai stuff that would normally be available as a standard release, but they're just not. You're not finding them very easily. Case in point, the Dovin Wolf. And it's a standard release. I don't understand why this was a P Bandai release, why they did it this way, but I haven't seen one of these things in forever, so finally got my chance to pick one up. So very, anything of that era, that Double Zeta, the original series, all of that stuff, the 0080 stuff, any of that stuff, just kind of always gets to me. As everybody knows, wait, what? I guess I screw myself when I tell people that I don't do Cash App, Venmo, or Zelle, etc. It's cash, please. Yeah, I use PayPal all the time just because it's convenient, and I, to date, never had a problem with it. Good. I'm glad P Bandai is hurting. I always feel that it's a cash grab and a gimmick to suck out more money. Yes, to a degree, I don't disagree with you on that. Yeah, I've been buying P Bandai for raffles for the next year. Yeah, I'll probably end up doing the same thing. That's a P Bandai. They released it as a P Bandai. There's a lot of stuff recently, Joe, that is a standard release that you find either only or also on P Bandai. Why? I don't know. Richie, next year I'm going to do the same thing. I'll probably end up buying like some P Bandai master grade something or other. And we'll buy it for the PACON rally next year. Yeah, exactly. Joe, I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't get it. But again, I hadn't seen one of these things anywhere recently, so I figured, all right, I've been wanting it, and I picked it up. All right, so everybody who knows, I'm not a wing guy. I don't like wing except for Leo's. And the tall geese, the original tall geese, I really like that. Anything else kind of wing related, yeah, it doesn't resonate with me. Remember, I'm old enough that I watched the original series, all the original UC stuff. And when Wing came about, look, I know it introduced a lot of people to Wing. It was before my time. Wing just, after my time. Wing just never resonated with me. However, Leos and tall geese will always get me. And I have a tall geese. And I built it up, and I've enjoyed that. And the Leos have been fantastic. And I did pick up the third of this set because that does look. That's pretty hot. I'm just going to say it. This is one of those models that you can have like a really fun time with, just taking completely out of context. 'Cause I don't care about Wing. I don't care about the side story. It doesn't do anything for me. But I could definitely see doing like some kind of gladiatorial thing with those things. If we come, we'll bring ours for stuff. Yes, you will come. You will come. I'm expecting that. Richie, I'm going to drive down and pick you up. I promise you. Dove and Wolf P Bandai I bought online from Mecca Warehouse. Really interesting. Very interesting. As stated, I'm getting back into modeling. I've many improvements over the last 30 years. Is a waterfall paint booth a worthwhile investment or total overkill? Everything I've read about them is that they're really good, but probably overkill. Motors have been known to fail. There's a lot of stuff going on with that. I guess the question I would ask Peter is, do you have no easy way of venting outside of the building? So if you can do an air venting system, it's probably cheaper and easier. Remember, you're still getting some kind of stuff that might go elsewhere that the water might not catch. The other thing is you're poisoning the water. At some point, that water is going to have to get changed out. No, that's from Teardrop, the manga comic. Is that really? I have no idea what that's from. The big shoulder Leo. I know. Isn't it kind of cool? Seb, this is like, yeah, I look at this thing and it's definitely like, it's a Leo like on steroids, or a tall geese that's been kind of thinned down a little bit. It's really cool. My first time watching Gundam was via Gundam Wing, but in terms of mecha design, I like the Seed Arrow ones. Yeah, I don't know anything about Seed or 00, none of that stuff. I'm a UC purist in many ways. But again, if you take a look at this, two of them are not two of these things are not used. I don't know. This might be UC. Yeah, I guess it is UC. I don't know from where. All right, so the last one is, and this is just a design that just kind of like blew me away. When I first saw pictures of it, I'm like, this is really cool. Oh, that the G Unit P Bandai kit? Which one? You thought the Leo that was just here, or something else? It's the Leo N. I've got the other two. I've got the Leo R and the Leo S as well. But yeah. Because they just look so rad. Let's see. If I'm not wrong, there's a Leo with a rapier. Yes, I believe, and maybe Richie can fill us in on that one. I like aggressive designs. I like Zaku's. I'm just gonna say it. I don't know. I just like the original stuff. There's also a hokiness to it that I grew up with. It was a storyline called Wing Duel Story G Unit. Yes, that is correct, Joe. Manga side story in the AC universe. Thank you. I like aggressive designs. I saw an HG Dryson kit at the local RC Home, which caught my eye. The Dryson is one I'm also trying to get my hands on at some point. It must have caught someone else's attention because I came back the next day and it was gone. Yeah, absolutely. Like a Dryson is stuff like that just doesn't get printed very often. The S is so dramatic. I would agree. I like drama. Elio from the G Unit manga, yeah, with the damned cape. Yep, that's the Leo. It's either the R or the S. I don't. Well, I can tell you right now. It's the Leo S. It's the red one with the cape, which looks really cool. I've snapped that one up. I really enjoyed that one. Give me a vibe of Shara Azabal. I think that's kind of what they were going for, Seb, right? I desire a return to the Destroy designs as in weapon platform on legs. I couldn't agree more. That's why, like for me, watching Requiem for Vengeance was so cool because the Zakus were literally walking armor platforms. I thought that was great. The way they appeared there was great. Having said that, Destroids always get me. Always get me. Leo S. Hey, I gave the HG Bale a cape because McGill. It was definitely a drama boy. Drama boy. I love drama boys. I don't even know who McGill is, but that's kind of cool. Anyway, the last one that came in was this one here. The G-Line Standard Armor. I have no idea what Gundam Battlefield Record UC0081 is. I don't care. All I know is this thing looked great. And it's got a lot of little pieces and parts. And it looks great. This one I might snap up sooner rather than later. I've been working on an El Gaim Mark II recently, and I've been like, just not having fun with it. I might transition over to this and snap this up instead. I wouldn't say a big one. It was a good one. They had that free shipping thing going on, so I figured, you know what, I'll pick up a few things just because. One of my favorites. Which one's one of your favorites, Richie? Got a P-Band now. Yes. Look up George of all. There's Leo Custom. Ooh, sharp. I'll look that up later. Blue Destiny. Blue Destiny is one of your favorites, Richie? Mecha design of the Advance of Zeta. It's also pretty dope. I like a lot of those designs, not all of them. I think they're very unique. Some of them are very unique and they're really cool. Building them have been flaky. The G-Line looks good. Yeah. I was blown away by like the photos and the stuff that you can do with it. It's yeah. Let's see. I'm working on my G-Line. I'm making it a Gundam. Oh, really? What makes it a Gundam, Richie? I don't even what is the G-Line like? What's the background of the G-Line itself? Looks awesome. Real bulky body armor feel to it. Yeah. I've kind of cooled on buying from Mecha Warehouse. Nick never seems to get enough of the kits that are going to sell well. When I see a text that there's been a drop of new kits restocks. Yeah. I think like anything, it's like you gotta justify, if I bring something in, is it gonna move? G like standard. I can easily tell which ones are going to sell out, and sure enough, they do. Oh, the G-Line has no polycaps. I believe that is correct. It's a modern, what year is this? 2024, and I believe the majority of that is I believe the majority of that is all new runners. I feel like MW is struggling lately. The fact, Nick, to take a full-time job and lay off a bunch of people didn't bode well. I'm going to buy into the Redacted 3 contest, though. Nice. Redacted contests are always a fun challenge. That's cool. Robert, thank you, by the way, for sending that information to me. I have not had a chance to take a look at it fully. I will not be participating in that just because I got too much stuff going on. But I do appreciate that. That's that community building stuff. I think that, like with Nick, I think first of all, he had a full-time job. Mecha Warehouse was not his full-time job. It was one of his jobs. So he was doing both. But I think he's now gone back into his other permanent job because, at least from what I recall, because I think it was just like, yeah, Mecha Warehouse isn't doing as strongly. Remember, during COVID, it didn't take much to sell models, right? Now we're post-COVID and people have moved on to, I'm going to do other things now because I can go outside and, move around. So I'm sure that sales, like we were talking about with P Bandai earlier, I'm sure sales have either plateaued or maybe dipped. I'm guessing, unless anybody can tell me where one can find. I'd love to see data. I'd love to see sales data if anybody knows where that might be. All right, let's get back to an arm. This is what I meant by having to add wires. Those were not included with the model. You had to provide them and anchor them, drill out points to make them happen. which is fine. It's an easy enough task, but it's like, really? That can always a fun challenge, yeah. I want the light armor too. The light armor look good, but it's like I don't need both. For me, it's like this is the one that kind of like, ooh, this one's sexy. Honestly, the cost of living is the biggest factor. I've stopped buying kits because I just can't afford to. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sort of in that same position. It's like the other thing is for me, it's like this is another reason why I also gravitate towards, 1/72nd scale armor or 1/144. I can't do, the like 80 to $100, 1/35th scale Meng tanks or border tanks or right field tanks. They're great. I'm sure. I mean, I've got a couple in the stash I picked up at shows really cheap. But after a while, it's like, this is just this. Yeah, it's big. Where am I going to put it? And yeah, no. So 1/72nd scale. This is why I'm a big fan of the Meng stuff, because it's come down. Its pricing is so good, and the size is it, and the quality is so good. It's totally worth it. But yeah, Robert, I do hear you. Redacted 3, I'm buying in, but I'm not set on participating in. I'm knee deep in a year-long MGXia build, and I will. And while I enjoy the redacted concept, I don't do well with deadlines. Yeah, I'm the same way. Don't give me a deadline. This is my hobby. I don't need to make this a job. So I'm going to decide when the kit comes if I get inspiration. Yeah. Yep. Makes a lot of sense, Robert. By the way, Robert, hope all is well on your end. All right, what time is it? I got about half an hour. I'm gonna head upstairs, hang out with my wife for a little while. Then we're gonna go out and do some shopping. A couple of our family, a good family friend. I would say, I would call them my adopted god kids. One of the sons, he and his significant other are about to have their first baby. It's always exciting. And then one of my colleagues at work, he and his wife are about to have their first baby. And I got to tell you, okay, I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna sound weird. I don't care. I love shopping for baby clothes. I love it. Absolutely love it. Going shopping for adult clothes bores the piss out of me. Shopping for baby clothes, love it. My wife last week, she's like, "Hey, do you want to go shop for?" Yeah, I'll gladly go. Let's go. I think I was in the car before she was. Have you considered buying straight from Japan, or are tariffs and import? Yeah, from a Gundam perspective, no. I do buy all of my Meng kits from China directly. One, because they're available sooner, and two, they're usually at a fairly good price. $20 with shipping included. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer. I'm tempted to get the O since it came out, but they're like $160. Exactly, Ray. Hey, Ray, good morning, by the way, brother. How are you? Yeah, totally. I saw that. It's like 150. I saw it for 150. I'm like, yeah, no, definitely not worth it. At least in my eyes, just not worth it. I built the O in the HD format. I loved it. That would be one of those models if I really wanted to. Would I buy another one of those to build it? Yeah, but I'd be kidding myself if I ever did. Or else Discord has a section where you try to engage people's interest in different kits. There's just so much out there, and I think they could focus on Bandai than all the crazy. Yep. Expensive stuff that Kotobukiya makes. Maybe they sell a lot of that stuff. I don't know. I know that his relationship with Bandai changed a while ago. I'm not sure if that impacted a lot of that decision making. You know. Okay, I think that arm's good enough. Let's see. I gotta pick up my laundry and one of the best from the cleaners. I got PY patches sewn on. Nice. I can't wait for you guys to have a table next year at PACON. I'm gonna say that every time. I think every time. Ran into an issue with buying direct from Bandai right as the COVID drought ended, and they ended up banking more towards Kotobuki as a result. Yep. Hey, business decisions makes sense. Okay, let's get this one done. It's not like shopping at all and has gotten into the habit of having everything shipped to the house. Yeah. I mean, I do some of that stuff too, but I don't know. At this point, there's really not a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't buy a lot of stuff anymore. Just not a lot of shit that I need. I mean, I did order I'm trying to finish off the Thunderbolt series, so I buy one at a time when the time kind of comes in. So I'm reading the Thunderbolt manga. Almost done with it. I'm at I think I've just got issue 22. It is a fabulous, fabulous series. They don't get direct anymore, and it limits stock and price reductions. Yep, my wife. Yeah. Size is my issue with a lot of kids. I want them, but where will I put them? Like the PGU new $700 and huge. Yeah. That's the interesting thing. That doesn't kind of like do much for me. I would rather, at that point, scratch build it. And time permitting in my life, I hope to be able to scratch build a Mark II. Time permitting. In 1/35th scale, put it right next to a tank. Time permitting. Too many other projects right now to consider myself with, but one more pass on this, and then we're going to call this one done. Let's see. I want another MG F90 to build. The F90 or the F91? Not that I know what the differences are between them. I mean, I know the F91 was the one that appeared in the movie. Thanks for the pressure, George. Dude, for you, the world. I'll relay the message. Yeah, you tell all those bastards. I expect them there next year. It's a fun time, Richie. And look, I get it. Time and everything, and it's a haul for you guys. I totally understand. But it would be lovely to have you up there. Have you heard of Galactic Toys and Collectibles? Yes. Have I bought from them? Yes. I bought a bunch of photo etch stuff way back in the day from them. I'm still waiting for you to offer me that MPM Dutch float plane. Might happen sooner than later. As much as I thought it might not, it might happen because I'm not sure I'll ever really get to it. We'll see. And Chris, I still likely have a box of vacuum form kits that I will be sending to you. Let's stay in contact about that, okay? Let's see. Oh, now that I think of it, how's the advance of the Drovium? Did you play? Oh yeah, it's on hold. It's on hold. I will have to get back to snapping that thing up at some point, Seth. Thank you for reminding me. I look at it. It's in my theater all the time. I look at it. It's like, it got to a point where just snapping some of that stuff just became cumbersome, and it's like I'm not enjoying it, so I needed to step away. But yeah, good point. I've seen a 135th scale new bust, and it was nuts. Yeah, I don't want to build a bust. I want to build like the entire Mark II. Good evening, hello everyone. Good evening, Edwin. How are you, my friend? So with all the new kits, what's that bring the backlog to? Go check out the spreadsheet. It's public. It's not 100% accurate in terms of what they call it, in terms of what's been built, snapped together, but everything is recorded there. I bet you think I forgot about that kit. Oh, no. Lost my volume. You lost your volume? Uh-oh. Can everybody else hear me? I hope so. Where do you live? Maybe I'll bring down all the kits for you. Nice. All right, let's hit this body up. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some line clean out there, which is fine. I'll turn that around in a second. Oops. I will say I did a fabulous job of gluing on that antenna. Have yet to snap it off. Happy about that. Anyone have any experience with the Kaleido Colorworks acrylic paints, or is Tamiya still the golden standard? Well, there's a bunch of standards. I mean, for water-based acrylics, Vallejo, AK third generation are excellent. Love those. Tamiya makes excellent paints. I wouldn't hand brush with them, but for airbrushing, they're great, especially with leveling thinner. Mr. Color, the AK Real Colors. These are some of my go-tos. Here's the thing. With rare exception, Peter, are you going to find that there are bad paints? Rare exception. It's application, I think. You know, I use enamels as well. I've got a bunch of testers enamels that I use when I need to do any kind of reverse washing, or if you want to lay down a paint that is absolutely going to stick for life, that's the one. Ray, I live in Houston. Yeah, I better step away when it becomes a chore, then bring him to the kit. Yep, exactly. Thank you, Seb. Right. Scheming playing the next tabletop play with my friend. Next game I have. Bring the Custodes Emperor Guardian and kick his ass. Nice. Edwin is a big Warhammer kind of guy. Here you find, George. Nice. Damn it, shipping might be cheaper. Yeah, shipping would be cheaper. Hey, George, how would you go about judging a Gundam model with a metal frame? It's not like you can do cleanup on cast metal molds. My feeling is if you're putting it into a competition, and whether it's metal or plastic, and look, there are people who are like, you can't do metal in a plastic model show. Fuck that. If you cannot remove the seam lines, I would suggest not. Then expect that you're going to get a lower score. Remember, in an IP, and this is IPMS. In an IPMS show, it's about fit and finish, construction first, which I think is fair. It's a subjective way of looking at a model. We were talking about this earlier, Robert. So that would be my take on that. I'd say you're going to have to do the cleanup on it. And there are ways of cleaning metal. It just sucks. Let's see. It's a drive. I'm back. It's probably my fat fingers, the keyboard. Goes a lady cyclocross is on, so take care, everyone. Chris, you too, brother. Take it easy. Have a good day. We'll touch base soon. We're almost done here. So if you take a look at the texturing, I brought it down significantly, which I think is exactly right. There should be texture, but it shouldn't be so pronounced that it's in your face. Just being in Texas is a drive, and I have to get there. I would treat Kaleido the same as you do when spraying from a safety perspective. To me, it blitzed everyone with true water safety time, but had to quietly walk it back. Interesting. I'll pay shipping. I don't know what I'm getting, but I'll pay. You guys are funny. I think I am going to get done with this today. All this cleanup work is going to get done today. So tomorrow I should be able to start the weld beads. Yeah. Just getting up top here. Going around the antenna. Paint have VOCs that are pretty high. Really? I have to go. Catch you all later, guys. Have a nice day. Seb, you too, my friend. Thank you so much for popping in. Always lovely to have you on. Always. It really is, guys. It's just, we're getting close to doing the sign out here, but it really is, especially the last couple of weeks, it just feels like things have really been hitting an interesting stride, and I'm so grateful to everybody being here and us having conversations. I've enjoyed working on this model solo to get this stuff done, listening to music, but it's also just really nice to just talk with people. All right, got to get in there and hammer out some of that line there, which I'll use my knife to do. But I think we're done. Just gonna do a little bit of cleanup, but I think we're done. Thanks, good to know, Robert. Between George and me, a lifetime of vacuum form. Oh yeah, Ray, do you want more? I mean, honestly, I still got close to 20 boxes in my garage, and I didn't bring any last month because we're all recovering from PACON, and I likely won't be going to our monthly meeting this month. So I'm going to be carrying these things over into 2026, which it's been a fucking year. All right, give me a second, you guys. Just gonna get in here and get this line cleaned up. Yeah, we're almost there. I'm gonna throw it under light and glasses. See what the hull's the important part. As this is the thing that eyes are going to gravitate to. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking if I hit this thing with enough of a primer that it has a microfiller, it'll fill in a lot of these details, some of these things. But I'm thinking for the most part, It's looking pretty good. Guys, give me a moment there. I'll be right there. Knock down some of this stuff right here. Oops, forgot to do this. All right, guys, give me a moment. Almost there. And I believe with that, to get this top one, I'm going to stop. It is good enough. All right, let's see where we are. I think it was around 93 GO, which kind of conflicted with their no harmful solvents branding a bit. Really, I don't know anything about this brand, so that's pretty crappy of them. That's like 2 kits at my build speed. Not all VOCs are created equal, but it stood out in the MSDS. Really, I'm back. Welcome back, RQ. No, I'm bringing you a box to add to Nick's shipment. Oh. I think I found odd in the MSDS is the toxicology report was based on people only coming into dermal contact with colloidal paint, but they're sold as airbrush paint, so the toxicology. Ooh, interesting. Ignored inhalation risks. Really? Well, that's interesting because that's probably the worst of it. Like breathing that crap in. Oh, interesting. Hopefully 2026 is a better year. Amen, Richie. It's always been stated as on their website. Later, spaces, have a great day. Keep your stick on the ice. Joe, you too, brother. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. We'll see you hopefully tomorrow, mañana. All right. So, here we go. Hull is done. And with that, tomorrow I might, I'll maybe wait to wash it. Depends. I'm going to scribe in areas where we're going to put the what they call it, the well beads. And that's kind of it. But so far, it's ready to go. Has always been space noise at this point. I have a question. How big the box is? It just depends on what gets sent down. For being EU REACH certified, they couldn't really hide anything. Yeah, exactly. And nor should they, terracotta Ma K. Or should we call it terracotta? Yeah, there is a terracotta feel to it. In fact, if you're doing terracotta finishing, like you need something, this is perfect for it. In fact, that's the first thought was it's got less of a cast texture look and more of a terracotta look. Hey, Tom, good morning. I just bought a stove. I saved the box. Nice. Not sure if but I know getting the page that warns that it's not easy because it's not on all pass through their site. That's not good. All right, guys, 2 more minutes, and then we're going to bail. In fact, I'm just going to do point that Ray was just making, trying to eliminate some more of that terracotta-like look. I think when we hit this thing with primer, and might do a couple layers of it just to kind of bring down some of that terracotta feel. I'll probably use Surfacer 1000 when priming it. And then that'll, I think, kind of do a little bit of that. Kind of, yeah, it'll do some nice touching up. And he comes home and there's like 30 boxes on his doorstep. Oh my God, man. My wife would be ecstatic if I got rid of all that shit. Frankly, so would I. In time. The pleasures and pains of being a club president. Anyway. So with that being said, last thing we're going to do, just because Nick asked. Let's see what happens. Does Bondo dry or does Bondo cure? I just dunked my brush into ISO. And I would say maybe this Bondo hasn't fully cured yet. I would say it is possible that you could remove it. If you really worked hard at it, you could remove it with ISO. But at the same time, I like the smoothing out that it did. So I might actually even try that. We'll see. That's interesting. Look what it's doing to the color on it, though. It's discoloring it. It's giving it like a milky color on top. That would definitely set me for life. Oh, don't never say that. So in this jar of ISO that I'm washing the brush off, that red is coming off. Now, again, that could just be loose on the brush, but it did come off. Oh, that's interesting how it discolored that. I'll show you guys again. Not sure I would recommend doing that without an understanding of what's going on. Looks better after priming, but knocking the high spots down will give it a good texture. Yeah, so far so good. I'm really happy with the way it's come out. Yeah, just got to fill in some of that stuff, that the little gapping in between, but I'm happy with the result. Bondo cures, I believe. I think so too. But again, if you take a look at what I just did, it did smooth out a lot of that surface, and it also discolored it. So there is an alcohol reaction to the Bondo. Just saying. All right, let's see. I'm going to read the last couple comments, send some over. You want more kits? You finish that Era comment, then we'll talk. I want a box. Let's see. For the record, I don't think poorly of the Kaleido paints. I haven't used them yet and want to. I just highly recommend proceeding with caution. Yep, 100%, Robert. Like with most of these paints, be cautious, especially if you're not familiar with the brand. If it's like a new brand, I would absolutely be cautious. Bondo cures, I believe. I think so too, maybe because it's not the two-part. Do you have a link to this MSDS? I got them directly from gallery I found. I can forward you a copy of the email if you want. Send Tom all the vacuum form kits. I'm going to send those to Chris. Chris asked for them first. Guys, stay safe and stay sane. Thanks for being on this morning. I really do appreciate it. Good conversations, and it's been a good ride with you guys on this texturing process. It's I appreciate everybody being part of it. I'm going to lay down the bead weld starting tomorrow. Weld beads starting tomorrow, and then we're going to go from there. See what the next steps are. There aren't going to be a lot because there's so much casting going on here. I figured it probably wouldn't be some stuff welded on, but we'll see. Depends on how much fun I'm having doing it. So with that, let me just see. Later, fellas, later. Just welds. Just welds. Yeah, I guess you're right. It's just a weld. Thank you, Nick. Okay. So with that, guys, enjoy the day. Go out there and do good. Brighten the world as much as you possibly can. It's a shitty world out there, but it doesn't have to be. If we can make it that much brighter for somebody, just add a little bit of kindness, a little bit of joy into somebody's life. That's all that matters to make it better. Do good, enjoy, love you all, and I'll catch you on the flip. Peace.